Welcome to the Daily's Double Shot. My name is Austin Seidentop.
And I'm Jessica Wedvik.
Up first, Brianna Lai talks to us about the Dream Project.
And then Kylie Walchuk talks to two Seattle food bloggers about how they're using their talents to help others out.
We revisit Platform 9 3/4 in a review of the new Harry Potter movie.
Christy Hamilton talks about student disability resources on campus.
Evelyn Osborne goes to Capitol Hill to see the theatrics that two UW graduates have created.
And finally, Tyler Steele goes to Nicholsville and tells us about their plans for relocation.
All coming up
on the Daily's Double Shot.
Ooh, what is that? Try some cookies.
Yeah.
I'll see you there. Okay.
Up first, Brianna Lai takes us into the Dream Project.
I was the first one in my family to go to college, and I also think it was lucky that I ended up here. And I had a few people support me, and it was sort of random fate that I made it here. And I wanted to be able to give that back.
Janae Myers-Twitchell was one of the 5 students that founded the UW Dream Project. The Dream Project is a student-initiated high school outreach program. UW students partner with local low-income and first-generation high school students. The goal is to help the high schoolers attend college. Nancy Tran was a student at Chief South High School, where she participated as a scholar in the project. Now, as a junior at UW, Tran co-leads the weekly lecture.
So I was a Dream Scholar when I was a junior and senior, and so that's how I got involved in the Dream Project. And so when I came onto campus, I joined Dream Project. I went to Chief South, helped some of my underclassmen that I knew, and then eventually became a lead for Admissions Workshop Weekend, and then led that with another mentor, and then now here I am on the steering committee leading the class.
So we have undergraduates who act as our mentors, and they get to learn about social inequalities and educational equity. And some of them are first in their family to go to college. Some of them are 5th generation to go to college and maybe weren't necessarily aware that there were social inequalities.
On one hand, the Dream Project functions as a community in waiting for high school students who come to the UW and are looking for a group of like-minded thinkers on campus. And I believe that at the UW, which is such a huge school, it's important to find those communities and really be engaged with a smaller group of people in a way that really compartmentalizes and personalizes the college experience for undergrads.
This one person once asked me, what would you have done without the Dream Project? And I was like, well, I have my older sister, so I would have been fine, but there are other people who don't have older siblings or don't have parents who've gone through the process. And so Dream Project is kind of that resource for them.
Current UW freshman Billy Nong is the first to attend college in his family. He is a recipient of the Live the Dream scholarship.
The reason why I didn't know much about the university or any colleges before Dream Project was because nobody in my family had ever even graduated high school.
But we try to choose around 10 exceptional students who we work with every year, and they receive a $1,000 scholarship to the University of Washington.
If I was here alone, just going to a big university, I would be lost. I wouldn't know what classes to take, what professors would be good. So being a Dream Project, I had mentors higher than me, and they would recommend me teachers, what classes to take, and potential majors, and it's helped me a lot.
No one in my family has gone to college yet, so they really didn't have any idea of how to help me or how to, for me to achieve it, and we don't have the resources to, help me pay for it. So basically my family, they encouraged me to try to go, but they were like, if you can't get the money or you can't get in, we can't help you. So Dream Project allowed me to have resources to apply for scholarships and do the applications.
Yeah, my family is really proud of me. My grandma, she wants me to do good in college since I'm the first to represent my family. And she's hoping that will continue, after me, my cousins and nieces and nephews will continue to look at me and try to follow my footsteps and go to college as well.
I definitely plan on staying in it next quarter and the rest of this year, and I would just want to keep doing it as the years go on and maybe hopefully becoming the Chief South lead one day.
As a mentor, you just, especially in the winter, you help your mentees just with the college application process. So right now we're working on personal statements a lot and rereading that. We're helping them just figure out what colleges they want to apply to and going in orders, and just any general things you need help with. We're just a tool for them to use.
It's been pretty good. She's helped me a lot with my statement. She's helped me edit it and do the final draft today. And she helped me with my activities log today too.
Cool. It is almost immeasurable how much students grow by participating in a program like this. And so that's the other side of the track. It's not just getting kids into college, and it's not just college, it's lots of things. And then helping students grow once they're here and really learn from real world applications what they might use later on in their own careers, or to help them figure out a major, or graduate school, or whatever that is for them.
Just this summer, the DREAM Project was awarded $1 million from the Gates Foundation. With this money, the DREAM team will be in 3 more school districts in addition to the current 15. The grant allows for 2 new initiatives. The DREAM Project will now work with 9th and 10th graders. The team also plans on saturating all of their schools. Saturation means every student, not just those who qualify, will be touched by the DREAM team in some way before graduating.
Hey Austin, do you read food blogs?
No, I can't really imagine the thoughts and opinions of creme brulee being very interesting.
That's not really how it works. But up next, Kylie Walchuk talks to 2 Seattle food bloggers who are pretty interesting.
That's not how it works.
We'll Bake for Food is a bake sale and a food drive to benefit Northwest Harvest.
What it is a bunch of Seattle food bloggers are coming together to bake their favorite baked goods, and we will sell them to the public in exchange for things like diapers, formula, canned foods, and non-perishable food items. Monetary donations as well.
We've got about 50 bloggers together who are going to be baking and donating. They'll bake in advance and donate for the event.
So Northwest Harvest is a nonprofit, and what they do is collect food and monetary donations and then distribute them to food banks and schools that are in need throughout the Seattle community.
Given that it's the holiday season and that the economy is stunk, a lot of food banks are in dire need for food, formula, diapers, gluten-free products, anything that they can use to feed the community. Well, we do actually have a website. It's called willbakeforfood.com. And on the site we have a sign-up form if you want to volunteer to work that day. And then we also used Twitter as a platform to get in touch with the largest number of bloggers that both Jenny and I knew, to ask them, to invite them to come out and bake for the event. We also have a really terrific little page that shows pictures of the bloggers who are going to be participating, and that's been sort of a fun little social activity.
The Seattle blogging community, especially food bloggers, is pretty tight-knit, and we're all on Twitter, we all have our own blogs, and so everyone responded really positively.
We get together sort of semi-regularly at events and decided that this was a terrific community that we would be able to sort of call on to help the rest of the city.
I wanted to do something for this holiday season to sort of get back to the community and help people who don't necessarily have the means to eat all the time.
I have been sort of neck deep in my blog for a couple of years, and I needed to take a little bit of break from baking all the time. And I was talking with Jenny one day, and she said, I kind of want to do this, but I need a partner. This is a terrific opportunity for me to just step away from being covered in flour and sugar and butter all the time. So I actually have 2 blogs, but my food blog is called Purple House Dirt, and it's mostly a baking blog, but we do a lot of things from scratch at home. We make our own sausage, we cure our own meat, we do all kinds of things that a lot of people don't have time to do anymore.
Well, I started my blog about a year ago, and ever since I've come into contact with a bunch of amazing bloggers from Seattle and from all over the world. We all have something in common, so we all really try to support each other, and that's what they've done with us.
Following up after the event, we're going to try to post how many pounds of food we collected, sort of the impact of this event, because it was important to both Jenny and I that we didn't just have the event and then stop talking about what we've done, but that we actually shared, this is what we've done this season, and we'd love to be able to do this again if it's really successful.
Jessica, have you read the new Harry Potter books?
I read the first 6, but I only got halfway through the last one.
Ah, well that's oddly convenient, as the last movie has been split into 2 films.
Well, I hope they show the part I read first.
Yes. Now, Robert Frankel and Andrew Gospey review Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 1.
Hello and welcome to Cinema Chat. My name's Andrew Gospey.
And I'm Robert Frankel. We're 2 Weekender staff writers for The Daily, and today we'll be reviewing Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1.
This is the first part in the 7th installment of J.K. Rowling's massively successful fantasy series. Rob, your thoughts on the film?
I'll be honest, Andrew, I found Part 1 to be a little disappointing. I came off of The Half-Blood Prince really excited for where the series was going because I never actually finished the novels myself as a reader. And so, seeing the film, I became really interested in the world and really kind of stoked as to where it was going. But Part 1 felt really a little bit disappointing to me, and even in some cases quite boring.
I wouldn't go as far as to call it boring, but there were definitely some moments where the plot dragged, especially an extended middle sequence of the film where Harry, Ron, and Hermione are on the run from Voldemort and the Death Eaters, and they're journeying through the woods and various portions of the English countryside.
Almost moping exclusively throughout.
Exactly.
How did you feel that the film as a whole kind of went?
Well, I felt like it was a lot of build-up. I mean, granted, the big climax of the story is going to happen in the second part of the movie. But there was lots of exposition, lots of explaining plot points.
Right. They kept going in circles, sort of chasing their tails. And I don't know if that was actually part of the book or not, but it just felt so redundant and so over and over again.
And I have read the books, and to a certain degree it is part of the book, but it's a part of the book that doesn't translate quite as well to the screen. But to be fair to the movie, most of the people who are going to see this are going to be maybe not die-hard Harry Potter fans, but at least familiar enough with the series where it won't be an issue for them.
Be that as it may, don't you find it a bit lenient to let the film off on that note? After all, the Harry Potter film series is in a spot no other film series has been in before, where they can just literally jump right into the action because they've had 6 films to develop these characters. There's nothing stopping them from actually doing what the film set out to do and not just give a whole bunch of rising action before the ultimate battle.
Yeah, that's true. And I thought that the focus on character development, especially in the middle part of the film, was a bit strange, given that we know these characters pretty well already. It especially manifests itself in this supposed sexual tension that's supposed to arise between Harry, played by Daniel Radcliffe, and Hermione, played by Emma Watson.
I was never aware that there was actually intention to be had between the two. To be honest, if Radcliffe and Watson had sold it a little bit better, maybe it would have been a bit more believable.
Yeah, and I think that was mostly on Watson. She looked pretty disinterested for most of this movie.
She's probably just looking forward to getting to Brown.
Yeah, definitely.
Having said that, though, I've never actually had an issue with the casting or the actual acting. I've found that Radcliffe, Watson, and Grint being the weakest link of the 3, have been, for the most part, adequate for their roles. However, I thought that the acting was a bit spottier in this film than in, say, Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah, I could see that. And Daniel Radcliffe seems to make up for this by appearing shirtless in a good 75% of the movie.
Not that much. It's just that he's shirtless more than once when more than one of him are shirtless. And for those of you who've read the book or seen the movie, it would be understandable.
And it's not really necessary. I mean, the dude's pretty pale.
We're almost out of time, Andrew. If you had to, and as we're going to have to, would you recommend this to a person on the street who's interested in seeing the film?
I think that it's entertaining enough that it will hold people's attention. And honestly, my recommendation is not going to carry that much weight. You know, people are going to come out in droves to see this movie.
Nothing we say is going to stop you all from lining up at midnight to see the film, so a bit disappointing on the whole, but I think maybe there's enough momentum for Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 2 to redeem the series. That's all for Cinema Chat. I'm Robert Frankel.
And I'm Andrew Gospey.
Did you know the UW has services for students with disabilities?
Yeah, and I think that a disability service is a great program for a university to have.
I agree. Christy Hamilton shines light on one of the most important programs at the UW.
Even though I'm, older, I still have some struggles where I come across a word and I have to literally stop myself and sound the word out. And for a person who is a struggling reader, myself, it is so helpful to have a mechanical device, even if it's mechanical, reading those materials to me.
This job offers flexibility, applicable experience, and exposure to some of the leading tools and techniques used in managing Windows environments, as well as opportunities for learning and growth.
It's very helpful for me because then I can actually stay ahead of the game, and it gives DRS an opportunity to start converting those files into audio file for me. So it's like, oh, hey, here I am at the start of the quarter and I'm starting off good.
DRS stands for Disability Resources for Students. And what our office really is focused on doing here on campus is working with students who have any kind of documented disabilities. They could be permanent or temporary, physical, sensory, psychological, wide range. And what we do is we work one-on-one with each student to try to figure out, in terms of how their particular disability impacts them, what kind of access issues they may be experiencing on our campus. And so we try to then establish what we call accommodations, reasonable accommodations, so that we can equalize their learning experience.
My issue is reading comprehension, and I have a little bit of dyslexia. And so the DRS office has helped me really learn and understand the material. So have a note taker for each class. I'll look over the note taker's notes and then compare them with mine and add where I didn't quite finish a thought or idea.
I think it's important to take notes for other students just because it includes me in the community of UW. And I know that if I were in a situation where I needed an extra resource, it would be a very valuable thing to me. And so I think it's important because it's very easy for me to do, but it means a lot to someone else.
There's really now a beginning movement in the disability field, the work that we do, and that movement is really more towards kind of reframing disability, more towards where you're looking at what's in the environment here that we could be doing to change the environment so people with disabilities are more welcome without requesting accommodations or services, can be included without requesting accommodations and services.
I just feel like it's been really beneficial to just kind of really prove what you know. And so they've kind of helped me prove that yes, in this university, they want you to succeed.
People have this idea of, oh, DRS is only for people who have learning disabilities and those poor people. When in fact, the people that they're calling poor people have really strived and made a lot of effort to be where they are today.
To me, I really see it as such vital, important work to really improving and creating a society that is much more inclusive and equal. Because, we all know people with disabilities. We may have them ourselves, we have people in our families. As we age, we certainly will have a disability. So it just makes sense to create a world where we can live together, equally.
But I really think it's important for people to realize that everybody has a disability to some level. For example, if you have to use glasses, that's a disability because you can't see without your glasses. Your glasses are an aid. So it's not any different than an individual like me who uses an aid for learning purposes.
After the break, Evelyn Osborne goes to Capitol Hill, where 2 UW alumni started their own theater group. Evelyn Osborne talks to 2 UW alumni who started their own theater on Capitol Hill.
Gesamtkunstwerk.
Gesamtkunstwerk.
Gesamtkunstwerk. Gesamtkunstwerk is a German word, and it basically means a total work of art.
An all-encompassing artwork.
We wanted to really integrate as many different types of art into our theater.
Something that is a little bit outside of the boundaries of just regular theater.
More than just actors on stage playing characters, but interactive media pieces.
So not just live theater, we wanted to also do some media work as well.
Bringing the digital realm into the physical realm and together making something way more exciting than just theater and bringing it to a whole new level.
They're working so many different
multimedia elements into it, but relating them to the essence of the story makes it really important.
We're trying to bring it closer to the audience, and so it is a much more visceral experience.
It's very different than if you would come in and sit in an audience and watch a show. It's you come in and you're part of the show immediately. You feel like you're part of the whole environment.
Gesamtkunstwerk is a new theater company in Seattle. We did our first show in January 2010. Right now we're in the process of putting up 2 shows in repertory, The Late Henry Moss and Shoreditch Madonna.
2 sets in the same place, and some of the actors are playing 2 characters in the same world that's shaped depending on the performance.
Lots of theaters are just basically watching people act on stage, so we wanted to use digital art and photography as well to kind of bring in maybe a new audience base, like the new generations who are so used to watching TV and movies, kind of enjoy theater again.
The shows are laid out differently, so it's not, the audience is part of the actual performance.
I never expected to help start a theater company graduating. I just expected to work in other theaters already established. I basically went to UW through the drama program in order to do costume design. I took a lot of costume classes, constructing and design work.
I was a drama and philosophy major. It's interesting because Shoreditch Madonna has a lot of sort of philosophical elements to it. Even my philosophy background comes in and helps me with my character work to a certain extent.
What's nice about UW is that it gives you a very well-rounded base, and then it allows you to sort of delve into whichever part that you want to go into. It helps teach the students how to become more proactive in communicating with the various levels of the theater.
At the University of Washington, my major was digital art. That's what I do here at the theater now, is being able to bring all of that creativity and openness that DX Arts was able to help me develop in myself, and bring that into the theater here and bring that into a world that people can experience.
I think it's just a new and exciting thing for us to do, and just really kind of put our views and the way that we see theater evolving.
The hope is that your perspective on how the world works will change, and you will see something exciting in a whole new light, and you will see life from a perspective that involves all sorts of different media works.
People should come and see us just in order to experience a new way theater can be done instead of just the actors on stage.
Should definitely come see the shows. The actors are amazing, the set's amazing, and people have really, really good energy and have put a lot of work into it, and a lot of heart and a lot of passion. And I think when things have that much passion in them, they're bound to affect anyone who comes near them.
Now, Tyler Steele steps into the shoes of the homeless as he spends a day in Nicholsville as they get ready to relocate.
It's when they move that the controversy and public interest surrounding Nicholsville tent city increases. But spend the day with these guys, and it's pretty hard to ignore. They're not your typical homeless shelter.
This is Nicholsville, so self-governed community and stuff sticking together. Like I'd say probably a good third of the camp is what you call the working poor. There's a lot of people here still going to school too. I'm going to school, finishing up massage therapy in December. Woohoo! And one girl just started becoming a veterinary assistant, so she's back in school, and a couple other ones thinking about going back and finishing up their degrees, and it's pretty cool. It's nice when you see something like that happen.
But it's not just their optimistic attitudes and smiles that makes this group stand out. It's their structure and organization, too.
One of the unique features of Nicholsville is that we have a security desk, as you can see, and it is manned by 2 people, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're really, 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 really big on making sure that the people that live here are safe. I think Nicholsville in of itself runs a lot like a co-op, so everybody brings something to the table. You know, we have people here that are really gifted cooks, and so they're able to contribute, and I think that's one of the really spectacular parts of Nicholsville, is that everybody's unique and different, and we all have something to share, and I like that. And people here, homelessness is not a normal experience. You're with these people all the time, you live together, you eat together, You know, it's just kind of a unique experience that way. And I really like that sense of community, and people really look out for each other here.
The next morning, as the group prepared to leave the church parking lot they had called home for the last 3 months, their teamwork was uncanny. First, a line sweep to pick up every last speck of trash. Next, taking apart the crates, which had once been the foundation for their tents. Followed by a final cleanup.
Imagine packing your entire life, along with a family of 80, into a truck like this, and then moving to a completely unknown location. For the residents of Nicholsville, Tent City, this is exactly the case.
By noon on Monday, their stay in the U District is almost over. All the tents and few personal items have been packed, and they'll be on their way to yet another temporary location. The catch? Up until the move-out, the group had no idea where they were going, and while leaders were told they would receive word once the camp was fully packed, all Nicholsville really cares about is staying together and not leaving anyone behind. A few minutes after they were finally told where they would be going, they were off to the old firehouse in Lake City. Their dream? To one day have a permanent place to call home.
Well, that's it for this week. Come back on December 3rd for our next episode.
Yeah, otherwise our ratings will drop and we won't have jobs.
Thanks for watching the Daily Stubble Shot.
Please come back.